You want to know how much it's cost the U.S. in tourism dollars for kicking out the illegals and being tough on immigration? Take a guess. Just take a guess. $8.5 billion we've lost because we need to be tough on immigration because, we need to kick out Maria that cleans out the houses or Jose that picks our lettuce, Yeah. And before you start saying, wait a minute, child football fan, why are you talking about this, man? You talk about football. It's probably these people that are going to come. They're saving their money. They're not going to come this year. They're going to come next year for the World Cup. Déjame te explico. The reality is, people think it's not safe to travel to the United States. The sooner we understand that as a country and as a society here in America, the faster we'll be able to resolve this problem, okay? The reality is, okay, Trump's policies, whether that be tariffs, whether that be border security incidences, and the national travel advisories being placed by countries like Great Britain, by Germany, by our closest allies, does have an effect on how people perceive traveling to the United States will feel like. And if the biggest concern that a tourist will have in coming to the United States is being blocked by the Customs and Border Patrol agent from entering the country, even though they spent thousands of dollars already on travel costs, then why would they bother wasting that money to come to the United States in the first place? And so for the World Cup, it's significant. It's important that these cities have the tourists come because, again, FIFA's going to take all the money that they make from their ticket sales back to Switzerland. They're not giving a single cent to these host cities. So the host cities need the tourists to come. And as I've explained as well with the ticket prices, the reason why FIFA is implementing dynamic pricing is because they know that these tourists are not going to come from abroad. And so they're going to try to shake us down, the U.S. sports fan, of all the pennies that we have inside this couch. Like, I'm literally going to have to look for pennies down here just to be able to afford these tickets. Look, I don't care how much money you make, but $8.5 billion hurts an economy. Every economy in the world gets hurt by losing $8.5 billion. And this was a self-own that we did. So this World Cup that's going to come up, I don't know how it's going to come out. I don't know how it's going to be. But the reality is, if you've been saving money for this World Cup, you might want to use those savings to protect you from the economic downturn that is bound to happen as a result of losing $8.5 billion just to defend a stupid line. Just saying, it wasn't worth deporting Jesus that was cooking your food at the restaurant.
Catastrophic and unprecedented $12.5 billion loss for tourism. You heard me correctly. $12.5 billion loss just in 2025. This is going to be catastrophic for the United States of American tourism. People are not coming for business travel. They are not coming for conventions. They are not coming here for vacation. They are not coming here because of the trade war, because we are now actually on a national human rights watch list. You heard me correctly. For the first time ever, the United States of America is a danger to human rights. States like Florida, California, Nevada, specifically Las Vegas, and other major tourist cities are going to suffer devastating consequences. Have you changed your plans to travel for work, personal, or business to the United States or in between states? This is going to be an economic disaster we may never recover from.
People aren't coming here. People aren't coming from other countries here to travel, like for business, for personal. They ain't coming here. They're not coming here to have their conventions. They're not coming here to start. Nope, because you know why? Do you know why that is? Nope, not for the obvious reasons. Because for the first time in history, the United States has been put on the national watch list. We are violating human rights here. So they say, do not go there. Whoa, we're winning all right. My God. Do you know who that's going to affect? Not to mention our planes are falling out of the sky left and fucking right. So I don't think anybody has any confidence in the U.S. Airways at this point. Like the big, huge cities where people travel to and bring money into the United States, they ain't making no fucking money. But I thought it was America first. Now, if he expects the Americans to go to these places and make up for all the foreign people that ain't coming here for that 12 billion, maybe he shouldn't be giving, like, I don't know, tax breaks to the super rich, and maybe make the 10% that you're stealing from, maybe make us a little richer so we could spend, we can't, a vacation becomes a staycation, or you just don't do it. But what? But we're winning. Everything is great. Prices are up. Gas prices are up. Grocery prices are up. Mortgage rates are up. Consumer spending is down. Investments in the United States, not into Donald Trump's meme coin, are down. Stocks fucking down because he announced more tariffs. But we're fucking winning, right? Winning. People are going to lose their jobs. People are losing their jobs.
In the middle of the night, Donald Trump just posted this. This on social media. It reads, "He's on a mission from God, and nothing can stop what is coming." And I just want you to pause for a second and think of how big of a narcissist someone has to be to actually post this on their social media. And for anybody that's taken a history class before, you know that being on a mission from God is the justification that a lot of dictators throughout history have used, saying like, hey, I have a religious mandate to be in this position of power, and if you try to remove me, you're going against God, to kind of scare people. So not only is this incredibly narcissistic and indicative of somebody who thinks that they are above everybody else, it's also incredibly concerning. Like, presidents, people in democracies don't talk like this. And once again, he's posting it in the middle of the night. Instead of focusing on big issues here in the United States or around the world, Donald Trump is posting this slop on social media. Once again, I have no idea what the United States did to deserve this.
The United States is seeing a huge dramatic drop in international visitors.
Because who the hell wants to go on holiday in Gilead? Who wants to go on holiday in Gilead, please? Because I don't. Red is not my colour. It's not. Every other day there's a horror story about someone who has tried to travel to the USA. Every single day. Stopped in the airport, can't get through, held up for hours, being questioned, having their phones looked through, having their emails looked through, having their social media looked through. Why would anybody want to pay for that? Especially when the whole world is there to travel to. The one silver lining in all of this, for everybody else, not the USA, like you lot are cooked, but for the rest of the world, it means that this is going to open up tourism for so many other countries that other people would never really have considered going to. They're going to start going to them now. And I love that for the economies of other countries, because the USA, yeah, you lot are cooked.
We don't care every time someone points out the cost of Donald Trump's policies. International tourists are quietly delivering the one response that matters in Trump's America, which is they're not coming to the United States for vacations. We have new data now from the World Travel and Tourism Council. The U.S. is on track to lose over $12 billion in international travel spending this year. That's a decline of 7%. It's not because suddenly the sand on the beaches is no good. It's not because the theme parks got rid of everybody's favorite ride. It's because the rest of the world sees what the United States under Donald Trump has become: expensive, hostile, and unstable. And they're voting with their passports. Of the 184 countries surveyed, the U.S. is the only one with an absolute decline in international visitor spending. According to the WTC's CEO, quote, "The U.S. has firmly got a 'we're not open for business' sign right now." And that's correct. Germany has updated its travel advisory after several Germans were detained at the U.S. border. Canada, which used to be exempt from most of the short-term visa requirements, now has to register and submit fingerprints for any visit longer than 30 days. That's new under Donald Trump. You've got Canadian Airlines canceling routes due to declining.
Airlines are cutting flights pre-summer. I cannot express to you the ripple effect that this will have in the United States economy. And it talks about fears of recession. And rightfully so. The stock market has been tanking. People are getting fired due to the Trump administration, Doge, and Elon Musk. So much uncertainty, breaking of constitutional laws, ignoring judges, deporting people. despite their citizenship, despite our Constitution saying everybody gets due process. You do not know if somebody is a criminal or illegal unless they get due process, period. So airlines are cutting travel. If you have to travel, which if you see this viral video, most people are canceling their plans. So that coincides with my belief that a recession is coming. If you do have to travel, you're going to have less flights, fuller flights. And what I want to tell you more importantly is to get your finances in order. Please get together a little emergency savings. Please only spend money on necessary items. Try to shop around items. Negotiate your cell phone, your car insurance. Please don't buy anything new. Tariffs are going to jack up the prices right now. If you're absolutely desperate, your car is literally dragging on the ground, buy a used car, a couple years old, something from like CarMax or something. But yes, tourism and the economy in the United States is going to be ruined for a very long time. Unfortunately, it's probably going to affect everybody in the world. And there's only one reason. This was totally uncalled for. Donald J. Trump.
Stunning images of near-empty passenger planes are popping up on social media. These international flights have many tourists flying to the USA practically alone. Shauna Massengill flew from London to Chicago. Look, barely anyone on board.
It was really shocking. I've never been on a flight like that.
This flight from Toronto to New York is also practically empty. And a flight from Toronto to Fort Myers, row after row of empty seats. Here in California, international travel is predicted to decline by 9% this year, driven by higher tariffs imposed by the Trump administration and negative sentiment toward the U.S.
The drop in numbers of Europeans traveling to the U.S. is staggering, and depending on the country, it's down as much as 42% over last year. That's just Europeans not traveling to the U.S.
Here in New York, tourism is also being hit big time, once again driven by negative sentiment toward the USA.
Cities like New York, Miami, Orlando, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas, San Francisco are all going to see a huge hit to their tourism industry this year. Allies like the United Kingdom, Germany, and Canada have issued warnings to their citizens telling them to reconsider travel to the United States after other citizens have been unlawfully detained. Like the Canadian woman who was unlawfully detained in a detention center in Arizona, or the French researcher who was detained and then deported because they found messages on his phone critical of Trump's approach to research funding in the United States. The more that cases like this come out, more foreign governments are going to issue warnings, and that's going to have a direct impact on communities here. And you may not care, but in 2019, international visitors spent $180 billion in the United States, which led to nearly $2 trillion in economic output. Visitor numbers were set to return to pre-pandemic levels this year, but now we have this going on. Those travelers will still be traveling, though. They just won't be traveling here.
Well, guys, the collapse is fully imminent, and if you don't believe me, walk outside. I am walking through Chinatown, Little Italy right now, usually absolutely packed to the gills. There's almost no one around. Tourism is plunging in America. Any city that relies on being even remotely appealing to an outside visitor is going to have its economy crater now, right? Places like Las Vegas, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Miami. Who would come here if they could get arrested at the airport or sent to El Salvador? I mean, we were never the most appealing country, but we've really done a good job of turning it into diarrhea under this administration. I mean, you know, you look around, I just gave a tour to like 3 people, you know, which is staggeringly low considering this is approaching peak tourist season. And people are like, where are all the people? And I'm like, I don't know, probably your hometown. Thank you for coming. Thank you for ignoring the news. Do you get the news? Like, it's, you know, when someone's like, I'm in New York, I'm like, really? It's pretty staggering how quickly we have become a pariah. And if you don't believe me, walk outside, see for yourself. No one's around.